What could go wrong? Throwing 456 people into an ultra-violent series of children's death games where they are each playing to win essentially $38 million. Yes, I was one of the ones who Googled won to dollar conversion, but you can't say anything because I know you did the same thing. I saw it in your search history. The success of how well this show won over our hearts with this roster of amazing characters is incredible. The trailer for the show literally came out 1 month ago and it's already exceeded every single show Netflix has ever had. That's insane. This show really didn't hesitate to break all the streaming records, including rising to the top in over 90 different countries at the same time. I wasn't expecting to fall in love with these characters when I started the show, and spoilers, duh, I wasn't expecting to cry when Ali died, but I did. We all did. And if you didn't, you're a psycho. I don't believe you. The show left us with so many questions I need answers to. Did Junho survive? There's no way he's dead or they would have shown his death on screen, right? Was Ilnam Gi-hun's father? There's so many clues pointing to them being related. And what about Gi-hun's new hairdo? Does this mean that he's going to come back to Squid Games this year and go undercover as a guard and try to overthrow this demented organization? Are they even going to make a season 2? For any of you who didn't know, it took the director 13 years to write the script for season 1. 13 years! And I'm sure you know that if they rush him to make season 2 or corporate takes over and they just make an awful second season, it'll just ruin the show. Look at Game of Thrones. The ending left such an awful taste in our mouths. Even to this day, it's just not worth it. It never is. And I doubt that you're down to wait until 2034 if it takes another 13 years to write a second season. But you know what? That doesn't have to stop us from being hopeful. I'd like to think maybe we'll see season 2 in a few years, considering it's the biggest show to come out since the existence of Netflix. I've got a lot of theories for this show that I want to make videos on, so please let me know in the comments if you enjoy these videos so I know to do more. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any videos. Only 8% of the people watching this video right now are actually subscribed to the channel. It's completely free and it really helps me out. I'll be back next week with new videos on your favorite movies and TV shows that you're not going to want to miss. Tell you what, each subscribe is another marble back in Ali's bag because you and me both know they did him so dirty. I didn't need to be in a puddle of tears after that episode. I would have grabbed a towel if I knew that.
I'm sorry, I'm so emotional.
This show was arguably one of the most emotional ones I've ever watched. Gi-hun was such an amazing character. That poor guy wanted to do everything but be a good father. This show had a weird relatability to it I noticed while watching, and I'm not sure if anyone else got this too, but the show taps into that what if fear I'm sure we've all had before of being dirt poor or being in debt or not having anything to your name, not amounting to anything in your life. In today's society, more than ever, just by being a human, you need money. There's so much pressure on teens and young adults to choose what you're going to do for the rest of your life and get started on it before you get left in the dust.
Oh, get a job? Yeah. Just get a job? Why don't I strap on my job helmet?
During COVID, everyone was hurting financially. It was something we couldn't have planned for and didn't know how long was going to last. It gave us all a taste of that worry, not knowing what was going to happen next. And this show is literally 456 players, all in massive debt that have no money to pay it off with. They have spouses, families, people relying on them, and they're letting them down. All these people need money so badly that they chose to voluntarily return to these death games where they know that the risk is literally dying if you fail one of these kids' games. And they come back, clinging to that tiny string of hope that they might win big and walk out of here with the giant prize money, solving all of their problems. That is why this show was so big. You need money to live in the world we live in today. In all countries, humans just need money. This show is one of the most relatable things they could have done. Look at the success that Mr. Beast has. That's literally what this show was. Except with more death and killing, of course. But Mr. Beast literally takes tons of people and has them compete in essentially children's games to win big sums of money. And look how many views he pulls. He pulls more views per video than the majority of Netflix shows pull. That's insane. And he's recently been dubbing his videos so they're available in more languages. Just what Squid Game did. On release, it was subtitled in 31 different languages and dubbed in 13. That plays such a big role in making it available to everyone and helping it skyrocket to number 1 in the 90 countries that it did. Also, unless you have a death wish, you had better be using protection so that no one can be checking up on you to invite you to the Squid Games. And the easiest way to do that is with Atlas VPN, the sponsor of today's video. Whether you're studying or working online or simply watching YouTube videos, you need to make sure that all your private information is securely protected. Atlas VPN will encrypt all of your traffic in just one click by connecting you to one of their many servers located around the entire world. Atlas VPN works for Android, iOS, Windows, and Mac to help keep you safe and out of the Squid Games. Also, one of my favorite uses for Atlas VPN is being able to change my region so I can watch whatever show or movie that's location locked on Netflix. What? I can't watch Rick and Morty in the US? That's totally fine. With Atlas VPN, you can just connect to a server in the UK and boom, Rick and Morty is back on. And all the while, your information is being protected, so there's no worrying about that guy in the suit showing up at your front door trying to get you to play the Square Game. Head on over to atlasv.pn/MichaelJ to claim their limited Black Friday offer for 3 years at only $139 a month, plus your extra 3 months for free. Link is in the description. Thank you so much to Atlas VPN for sponsoring this video. Okay, now back to the show. This show also had a lot of strong characters. I've never had so much trouble picking a favorite character from a show before, especially for only having 9 episodes. We were introduced to so many amazing characters and got to sit back and watch each of their stories unfold and see what their character really was. We saw these people at their lowest, when they were most desperate and faced with death. We got to see their true colors and motives and what made them choose to come back to these games. We got to see Junho learn his brother was missing and then investigate and infiltrate this underground organization of death games where he slowly uncovers more pieces of this puzzle until he finally almost sees the light at the end of the tunnel and gets to report the games and their killings, only to learn out that his missing brother is the leader behind this operation, and then they take turns shooting each other. I mean, look at Sang-woo, incredibly smart, seemingly nice childhood friend of Gi-hun, and chance after chance he gets, we clearly learn that he's only looking out for himself. I mean, even at his lowest, he still gives Ali money for his bus fare when he himself is broke. There's something respectable to him still. It just seems like he was a pawn in the machine and took a few wrong turns along the way, and now he's been living only by putting himself first at all times. This led to a lot of close calls and heartbreaking moments, especially during marbles, when he lost the game that was completely chance and tricked Ali into giving him his marbles so that he could move on. He considered Ali and everyone else a friend up until the point where it's either him or them. Then he doesn't hesitate to do whatever it takes to ensure his survival. Only at the end, when he sacrifices himself so Gi-hun can win the game, does the good in him truly overpower his priority of putting himself first.
I have 20 marbles. The rules said we could play, and the players could not acquire them using violence. Well, I made absolutely sure no harm was done.
Well, murder, but technically...
Each character has so much depth to them and relatability for just 9 episodes, it would be a crime if we didn't get a second season. And while we were all hoping for more Squid Games content, I don't think many of us realized that Season 2 doesn't mean we'd get to see more Ollie, or Se-byuk, or Ilnam. All of our favorite characters died in the first season! Except for Gi-hun, of course. But like, mentally, I'm not ready for that. I need to go rewatch Season 1 a few more times. And a lot of people have suggested this, and I kind of hope this is how they go about it. What if Season 2 was a prequel to Season 1, and it took place in 2015, the year that the frontman won the Squid Game? I think this would be so awesome. I would love to see a whole season around this amazing actor as he runs through these demented games trying to stay alive. But when I realized if they did that, it would mean that we would go into the season knowing who the winner of the games would be. What if that made it not as interesting or took away from the suspense that the show has? But then again, Gi-hun was 100% the main character of Season 1. Whether we realized it or not, we all knew deep down that he was going to win the games and survive. It's just what happens along the way and the people that he meets that make it so interesting. They could take Season 2 to explain how the winner of the games came to be the person who runs the games, what his relationship with Ilnam was like, because this was Ilnam's first time actually playing in the games, it seems. I'm sure he thought about playing in them before, seems as they've gone on for 33 years. I mean, who wouldn't? Each of us thought about how we would do if we played these games. Just look at the thousands of videos on TikTok about everyone trying the cookie challenge. Surely Ilnam thought about playing in these games he created, but it wasn't until this final year that he realized his health was declining and these games might be his only chance to play. It's now or never. And in these games, he forms such a wholesome bond with Gi-hun, who will later come back to try and overthrow the games after Il-nam's passing.
The pupil becomes the master.
So, I'm wondering how Il-nam noticed In-ho while he was competing. Maybe his performance and over-calculating is what caught their eye. I feel like he played the games like Song-woo did, but was more calculated or physically prepared. Even though we know he wins, I think this would make for a great second season. I'd much rather have this than just flashbacks while the rest is current day. They could do a third season that follows Gi-hun as he returns back to the games and tries to overthrow the organization from the inside, Hunger Games style, which leads me right into all the questions that they left open-ended at the end of the series. Number 1. Is Junho alive? I need answers. You better tell me he's alive. That man was one of my favorite characters. I need more Junho. If you haven't watched it yet, go check out my video where I break down in detail how Junho could survive his death. I think this is the strongest theory that I've seen surrounding this TV show and probably the most likely to be true. I mean, just look at this. They're saying that he's dead from getting shot in the shoulder and falling into water. Literally right before that happens, he shoots his brother in the shoulder and we see him still alive at the end of the show. If a character's death doesn't happen on screen, we don't see the dead body ever, they're not really dead. Look at Il-nam. They literally closed our eyes and walked us away from him before they shot him. Surprise! He's still alive at the end of the show. And falling into water means nothing. If anything, I think he has a better chance of survival from falling into the water below than he would have if he shot him and he didn't fall off the cliff. He would have to shoot him again to kill him in front of the guards, or they would get suspicious and turn on him and report him to their superiors. That's way too sus. He can't be doing that. By shooting him in the farthest point on his body from his center, he was able to help spin him backwards and take that extra step needed to fall off the cliff into the water where, if he regains consciousness before he drowns, he can swim to shore and hide out until they're gone. I go into it a lot in the video, just go watch it and tell me what you think. But also, I need to know, if the players chose the red square when they were first approached in the subway, would they then become the red workers? Because in the episode where they're explaining to the players how they are all approached the same way, if you look closely, you can see that some people actually chose the red square. Is this footage of a player in the crowd, or is this footage of one of the now workers that we're seeing? I need to know. Where do the workers come from? How do they recruit these people? Are they being drugged through their food? The first time we see a worker, the kid looks so out of it and isn't fazed at all when a crazy player holds a gun to his head. Almost no emotion at all, even though he knows for a fact that he is going to die because his mask was removed. Maybe this explains why Junho was looking the way he was with that blank stare after he got shot. Maybe these are more kidnapped people with debt that they can't pay off. They were promised a place to sleep and food every day if they work for them. Maybe these are all people without homes and families with nothing left to lose. There's so much to this theory and the question behind who the guards/workers are that I really need to know. I'm really curious about the Junho theory as well, and the Il-nam and Gi-hun theory with them being father and son that I went over in the other video. All of these things help solidify the Squid Game literally breaking the internet. There hasn't been this much hype around a single show in so long, and it's so refreshing to see. The simplistic design and colorful sets make this show weirdly easy to watch, even though it's being ultra-violent at the same time. I can only hope that this encourages audiences to open up to foreign shows more, as well as push the bar higher for all the shows that are in production right now. Thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not already. And make sure you got post notifications on so you don't miss the next upload. And until next time, I will see you in the comments. Peace.